Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Night Book Club. My name is Leah Pearson, and tonight we are going over chapter two of Real Leadership. And the title of the chapter was The People Business, Shine Your Light on Others. And I think that I felt like this was a super easy read and just confirmation of a lot of the things that our team culture does, like what we talk about. And so I just always think that's super encouraging when you're reading a book where they're talking about these are the key pieces of leadership and you're like, check, like we do this. So definitely not something that is unfamiliar, but I did like some of the things that I pulled out of here, and I'm excited to hear from you guys too. So just wanted to go over a couple things, and then I had some additional thoughts that I wanted to share too. But on page 28, he was talking about how like within the organization, everyone had a fervent devotion to a common mission. Loved that, and the approach that they had was a direct expression of the philosophy of its founder. And as a leader, everything comes from the top down. So I just always like to think about this, like I have the ability, you have the ability to set the tone for your organization. What you say, what you do, what you care about, your heartbeat duplicates. So that's what we always tell people, like, do what I'm doing, right? Like, that's the simplest form. And that's the same thing with like the community and the culture and everything. What you say and what you do and what you value duplicates. So if you thought about like the common mission of what you and your team, I mean, we have our bigger team, right? But for you as a leader, what are you banding together with your team to fulfill, and what kind of philosophy and culture do you desire? If you've not thought about that, it would be good to write down some thoughts on that. And then also, I was thinking, like, man, if this is true, we're aligned with a fantastic organization. If you were just on team call listening to Christy was one of the first corporate people that I experienced. And that was a huge, huge thing for me. I swear she probably was one of the biggest helps for me going fast start Ruby and then senior Ruby. She did so many things behind the scene. Jamie was always connecting with her. And I just remember thinking like, man, this is a servant-minded culture here. I loved that. And just, I think that we are aligned with the right organization. The founders, everybody at corporate is amazing, generous, integrity filled. That's huge. So loved that. Page 31, it was talking about how this man's company wasn't just a company, it was a cause. And that is true with Plexus as well. We have a cause here, is a worthy and honorable one. And I just always like to keep that at the forefront of my mind. And because of that, like if you zoom out and think about that, you can move forward confidently in your daily work, in your messages, in the busy work behind the scenes, because this is a cause where we are changing people's lives. It's not just about your IPA sheet. That IPA sheet is a piece of this greater cause that we have. I really liked the section about how studying the people in their work environment made them more productive and successful. I thought that was interesting because they were being noticed. I think that's something that our team does really well. But kind of the end part of that, they were saying you have to keep going because their production slid backwards when the study was over. And that made me think, in momentum, when things are going well with your team, organically there's a lot of recognition and shout outs and wins, because they are advancing, right? But I think that it's important. You're not going to rank up back to back to back months for the entirety of your business. You can for a season, and like always keep an open mind that God can do anything, right? But when you have those seasons where maybe it is a little bit slower, where you don't have those shout out posts to put up for your leaders, things are not happening as much. Thinking about that, like what can you do to continue to recognize them? And I think that you can do that in your coaching calls, talking to them about this is what I see in you, calling out strengths, encouragement, like really pulling back and thinking about that even before you get on the calls and just having that goal of, I want to speak this truth over them. Recognizing their consistency and their effort, even if they're not hitting a rank or there isn't maybe fruit yet, but recognizing the consistency and the effort and the action, I think is huge. Staying connected to them, talking about how, it's we're linking arms together. We are doing this. We are working together. All of those things I think are huge. And then the other thing that I was thinking about as far as like the recognition piece, because that's kind of the whole chapter, like shine your light on others, recognition. One of the things that really stuck out to me as I've been reading this chapter was like, I wholeheartedly agree with the recognition thing. I think it's pivotal when you're raising up leaders. People need to be seen, valued, celebrated, especially in a business that requires so much heart. Like there's a lot of heart behind what we do. But what if the recognition really isn't the end game? Like I just was thinking, I think we can go a layer deeper than what he was talking about. What if the deeper purpose of recognition is to really help someone associate positive feelings with the work that they're doing? Just kind of throwing this out there. This is something I was thinking about because I've noticed when someone starts to feel good and has good thoughts, and just they feel good about their business and about the action that they're taking, whether it's showing up consistently, doing something brave, simply growing like through resistance or like a hard season, they naturally begin to enjoy their work more. And then they're not waiting for that outside validation. Like recognition is outside validation. So instead, they're internalizing the joy, the sense of progress, the journey, and that creates a momentum from within. And I really think that's where sustainability is. Mm-hmm. So what if recognition is just kind of the on-ramp? On-ramp. And like the invitation to help people kind of learn to have a good feeling and like mindset associated with what they're doing, to pause and celebrate the action they took, to be proud of their consistency, to notice their growth, their courage and their confidence growing, things like that, and to actually enjoy what they're building, because then they're emotionally connected to their business in a positive way. So I think we always talk about empowering people, right? So if we can empower our teams to cultivate that kind of internal celebration, that's going to create resilience, and they're not going to be performing for applause. It's going to be, they're just building their business with joy. And I think that's the next level in leadership development, helping people not just receive recognition. And I'm not saying stop recognizing people, but that and generating it internally. That's how we need to, help leaders become self-fueling. So I think we teach this in every area of our business, taking ownership. It applies here too. So recognition matters. I loved what he shared, but maybe it's a tool to help people just fall in love with the process and to give them encouragement along the way, right? We all need it. I know I need it. And then I'm trying to think if I had anything else. I did love the section where he was talking about if you listen to a leader give a speech, how many times they say I versus we. I thought that was really good. And I think that is just a good self-check, even with, even on coaching calls. Like, how are you talking? Like when your sponsor is asking you questions, like, are you talking about like your personal work, or are you deflecting and talking about because I think he was saying like when it's negative, like you're pointing fingers at them, right? So how are you talking? Are you taking ownership like on coaching calls? So the last thing that I wanted to do really quick, because I think we talk about this with like all the books that have these reflection pieces, but on the last page, there is an action, and I can't find my last page now. There's an action step. It gives you like a little summary, and then there's an action step. So I wanted to take just like 2 quick minutes, and I want us all to do that. Did anybody actually do it already? Anybody? I did, because I knew that I was gonna do this. Can we take 2 minutes since we're all here together? And then if you don't have something planned to talk about, you can share that piece, and I'd love to hear from everybody tonight. So let's just take like 2-3 minutes, Super easy. Like, just I want you to write down some of the first things that come to you. It says make a list of 3 to 5 simple things that you can do in your present business to build others up and shine your light on them. And then he says, like, the application is every day pick at least one action from this list to put it into practice. So for right now, easy peasy, let's just take 2 minutes. What are 3 to 5 simple things you can do in your present business or career to build other people up and shine your light on them? That's page 51. So I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to mute. Let's do that for 2 minutes. I see most of you looking at me. Are we good? At least have a couple down. How easy was that? Like, I think we should all commit to 2 minutes of jotting some notes in our margin every week. It's just good to practice that application. So, would love to hear what stood out to you from the chapter. If you want to share that action step, I'd love to hear it. But yeah, let's open it up. Jamie, you're unmuted already. So,
How did I get unmuted? I'm so sorry. I mean, I can talk, but I don't know how I got unmuted. I was like frantically trying to plug my computer in before I died. Okay, so hi. Well, I'll quick share my things I wrote down and then a feedback thing. I said um to call out a strength in someone and help give an idea of how that person can use that strength maybe that week, or just call out how you see them using it. Another thing I said was catch someone doing something good, and another one was acknowledge the small steps that build. So sometimes, we acknowledge always like these big wins and all the things, but sometimes it's those mundane, consistent small things are what build that, and just being intentional on calling that out in people. And feedback on this chapter, super quick. The diff when he mentions, I guess one thing I would say, he mentions the difference between being a good speaker and a good communicator. I know you mentioned that, Leah. And I think that hopefully is empowering for everybody when reading that, because I think sometimes speakers, and you think of being a good speaker and not everyone can maybe see themselves in that role, in a role of, maybe training in front of people or whatever it may be. Not to say that everyone can't be in that role, they absolutely can, but sometimes that just gets elevated or something that you don't connect with, but that's not what makes someone, it's kind of like the whole phrase of just because you have a mic doesn't make you a great leader, right? So being a good leader, being the difference between the speaker and the good communicator is, anyone can communicate well in terms of connecting with people. And that's where the power is of making a difference and helping others. And so I just like that he kind of really made that stand out. And I think that that's something that we try and communicate well with our team as well, that leadership is It's servant leadership. Like, Leah, you, no, wait, did you point that out earlier? Or maybe that was on the last call, sorry. But pointed out, it's, yeah, I think you did. It's about servant leadership on helping other people, and and connecting with people and all of that. So it's not just having this mic. It's not just spitting information at people. It's not having the perfect words to inspire people. It's connecting, like the one-on-one, the conversations and the yeah, all of that. So I just thought that that was, I know it's in there, but I thought it was just worth mentioning and hopefully just another acknowledgement of the leadership that's within all of us on that level of being able to help other people.
That's good, James and Leah. I loved your thoughts too. I loved the story about Horace. Um, and obviously there's history there, right? But as he was reading, or as I was reading it, as he was talking about that, my mind kept thinking just really truly how simple it is, and why do we make it so hard? Why are we so scared to go up to someone to say hi, welcome, I'm glad you're here, or whatever in this case, but it made me think about our church family in Guatemala. We've been going, we support a church there. We've been going there for several years now. And obviously, there's a language barrier, right? But it was more for us, it was our actions too. And I think that we should keep that in mind as well. Um, that even if it's scary or whatever to talk to someone new or say something, a little side hug or a rub on the arm or saying, whatever, and however you want to encourage them, whatever is your way of doing that. But when on 41, he says, when you shine your light on others, it is a big deal. A little recognition goes a long way, but you have to keep it going. That when we went to Guatemala that first time, it was it was good, but it was almost like they were a little bit like, okay, well, I don't know if we trust you. Are you, why are you here? And we proved ourselves by going back every single year, and that relationship grew. And that's what I mean, but you have to keep it going. And now we go and we literally run to each other and hug each other because that wall is down. You know what I mean? And it's just that consistency. It helped them feel more comfortable, and they knew that we were legit and we're not just coming there to put it on Facebook. No, we really care about you and we love you and you're our family. And um oh no, I don't know. I lost it. Oh, right here. It really doesn't take much to shine your light on others, and you'll find a whole lot of light come shining back. And that is so true in our case, in our experience with our family in Guatemala. They they say we bless them, but they bless us even more every single time. And so I think it's just important to be intentional about that. Um, and that was just an example, obviously, but talking in our business, I think it's really good to encourage sidelines and your downline and even your sponsors because we need it too. So yeah.
Hey guys, reading this chapter kind of brought me, how as we raise kids and we teach them like when they're in at a skill and they want to get better at it, and we teach them how to do that. This kind of brought on page 41, it says, real leaderships build up other people instead of yourself. I've just watched my grandkids grow so much in their ball games just by giving them positive feedback when there's certain things they're doing or whatever. And our business revolves around that all the way through, from when they're little, and now we're teaching other people to do the business the same way. So it was just like, we teach our children how to progress and do their things. We do the same thing with this business. Once you get to a certain point, say, okay, here's this next step. Here's what you learn from this spot and this spot. But when I was reading that, I'm like, because I kind of read it today, and then I went to a ball game where I see these kids growing up and doing so much better by just the positive feedback and the more interaction with their parents and other people that are there with them or whatever. So it was kind of cool that related to that. It kind of popped in my head today, and I'm like, oh, that's what we do. We teach just like we teach our grandchildren or our children. But yeah, and then my action note I put on there is just ask somebody how their day's going. A lot of times people don't, like, if they're quiet, you just ask them how their day is going, because then they're going to open up to you a little bit more, and then you might be able to hear where they're stuck at or where their problems are at, and everything too. So that was my action step.
Okay, Linda, you stole everything. I was going to say this, literally the same exact thing. But I think that this, I think we all are very like-minded in that way. And I think I just also identified with that, I think just from what I do on a daily basis. But I liked how you and Leah both put it. I think, Leah, you mentioned there's an on-ramp for consistency through positive reinforcement. And I mean, it's exactly what we do with kids. That's how we reinforce their, behaviors or actions that we're looking for them to do. But if you take it a step further than that and you are thinking about consistency, after a while, they and or we are going to keep doing those things, not because we want the attention, but because we know that it fuels our own self-esteem, our own professional development, our own leadership skills. And it's almost like you just become like this self-serving machine in some ways, but because of what you're doing, you're serving others at the same time. And so it's almost like this really grand machine that you've created. And then I thought of it even a step further, some of the things that we talk about, and it kind of came up in page 33. And because I am such a red, I underlined it. When he said, some people get intimidated by criticism, but not art. You throw a rock at him and he'll shoot a bazooka at you. I was like, yeah, exactly. And so, because once you have that motivation and that drive that you know what you're doing and you know how to do it well, you don't necessarily need the external validation anymore, because you know what you're doing. You have your mission, you have your cause, you have your why, and it just works. And throw a criticism, I'll throw a bazooka. I was like, yeah. So loved that. Yeah, I actually did double underline it. You already know me very well.
I did too. I did too. I wanted to take a second really quick and recognize Liz. She just ranked up last month. So congratulations. And I saw that announcement. I just want to throw this out there, but I saw that announcement and it did not surprise me at all because of your consistency, fire, encouragement, you shining your light to other people. It's just shining back at you. Like I see you in IPA chat every single day, bringing that energy, and that's what it takes. And you're going to be bringing other people with you. And Yeah, it's not done. Like I'm just so excited for you. So congratulations and
Thank you. Appreciate
yeah,
it.
absolutely. Senior gold is huge. So excited for you.
Thank you.
But yes, I double underline that too. Uh, anyone else? Good thoughts.
I don't know if I was overthinking it or not, but when we were talking about like the action steps part, and maybe it's just because it's something that I feel like I want to remember to get better at doing. Um, but I kept thinking about maybe not even necessarily um like words of affirmation of recognition, but like action playbook things of recognition and affirmation. By that I mean like um empowering ownership and like opening doors for them to be able to like step up into leadership roles or have the opportunity to be the one to speak up and present or be the one to co-host or be the one to, you know. So in my mind I was like, I feel like we're talking a lot about like words of affirmation, but I think that there's something to be said about the and powerful about the action of affirmation too, and what that looks like, and empowering them through ownership and allowing them the open state, the open the floor, the open mic to be able to be heard.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. And just giving them, I mean, that what you just said makes me think of like the buckets thing, like putting them in the bucket of I'm going to invest time into you because you're being consistent, you are taking ownership, like that's another action thing. And then of course, like pulling them alongside of you to lead a live video or to, whatever, like just always trying to think what can I do to challenge you and to bring you to that next level. Um, yeah, that's really good.
Because
But
it
also,
scared the bejesus out of me when that started happening to me. Like, but at the same time, like when I was done, it was like, oh, maybe I can do this. Like, oh,
hmm
maybe I do. Maybe I'm good. Maybe I can
hmm
be here. Maybe they are right. So, anyway.
yeah, that's good. Good stuff.
I remember, Leah, when you always told me when Jamie asked me to do something, I said yes, and that's how you do it.
Still, even now, Mhm. It just doesn't surprise me anymore. It's like, all right. I think that's just a good, mindset to have with your sponsor. If they're asking you to do anything, it's because they see potential and growth possibility in you, and it's in your best interest to be coachable and to step out. So yeah, that's them recognizing something in you. It's always worth it to just do it.
I remember the first time I was asked to co-host book club, I was able to like instantaneously come up with like 5 reasons and excuses as to why there was no way I was going to be able to like make that happen. And I was grateful that somebody before me had said, if they ask, figure it out and do it because they see something in you. And I remember that being like, as we're sitting here talking through it, what a pivotal moment that was for me in my business. And had I let myself off the hook, I don't know that I would be where I'm at in my business now. And that had nothing to do with recruiting. It had nothing to do with the people I was talking to. It had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with my confidence in myself and my abilities. So, funny.
Yes, and amen.
There was one other thing I wrote down, and I think it has helped me with doing being where I'm at because of my support I've gotten from Leah is reminding one of the action steps is reminding that person, whoever you're working with or there, that you are there to support them in everything they do, because sometimes they can forget, or you can forget that, oh, I have this support over here, and not ask. So just offering that support to them, making sure they know that they have that support to them is another one that I had down for an action step too.
That's good. I think that's a good question to have ready on coaching calls, is establishing like what their goals are and then how can I support you as you work towards that goal this month.
On
That's
the flip
good.
side, I always feel like that's such a convoluted thing to have to answer though, because I'm like, I don't know.
Are you an overthinker?
Well, maybe.
But answering those hard questions helps you so much. Like, not just that one, any question. Like, to be able to express with clarity what you really need. You can just say, I'll get back to you, I'll let you know. That's okay. All right, ladies, we are past 10 o'clock. Does anybody have anything else? All right. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next week for chapter 3. Have a great rest of your week. See ya.